In the today's session, we are going to discuss Tomcat. So previously we have installed Apache, otherwise Nginx, or on top of Windows we have installed IIS. But what exactly Tomcat is? In order to deploy Java-based applications, say suppose we have developed Java-based applications. In order to deploy the Java-based applications, okay, say we are going to use Tomcat. Apache software have developed Tomcat, and in order to deploy our Java-based web-based applications and maybe Java servlets, JSPs, so most of the Java-based technologies we can deploy. Okay, so most of the Java-based applications also are going to use Tomcat. Hence, in the infrastructure side or operation side, definitely we need to know administration of Tomcat also very well. Okay, so applications and Tomcat also we are going to require. And Tomcat supports both Windows and Linux, but we are going to install today Tomcat on the Ubuntu. The latest version of the Tomcat we have is 10, and previous we have 8, 9, 7, 8, 9 also we have. So we are going to use here Tomcat 9. So today Java wise, we have Spring Boot applications also. How to deploy that Spring Boot applications also we'll discuss going forward. But today we are going to deploy Tomcat. On top of Tomcat, we are going to deploy the Java-based applications. Okay, and what is the version of Tomcat here we are going to install today is 9 is the version we are going to use. So I'll take one Amazon Linux, Amazon EC2 instance I'll take. Okay, so then on top of this, I'm going to set up launch an instance. And Tomcat port number, by default, the Tomcat port number is 8080. What is the Tomcat by default port number? 8080 is the Tomcat default port number. Okay, so now on this like Ubuntu instance, I'm going to take Tomcat server. I have installed this as a Tomcat itself. Then I'm going to choose the Ubuntu. So Ubuntu, we have 24.04. I'm taking 22.04. The 24 also is fine, but I'm taking here 22. Then T2.micro I have. I'll take little bit a higher version. Said you don't take T2 dot higher version, you don't take. I'm taking here T2 dot medium. T2 dot medium, and I'm going to create a new key pair. So now I'll download directly PPK itself. Okay, so just to avoid that conversion, but you make a practice of creating PEM and using putty and convert into PPK file. Then in the networking, I'm going with the default networking as of now, and the default only 22 port I have opened to remote connection, and I'm not opening HTTP, HTTPS because Tomcat port is not traditional 80 port, but Nginx, Apache, IIS uses the 80 port number. What is the Tomcat port number is 8080. I'll go to that instance. In that instance, I will enable that. Okay, so then here better to give minimum 20 GB of the hard disk. 8 GB is very less. We are going to download a lot of applications, lot of packages also. That is the reason I'm going to give 20 GB here. Then I'm going to launch the instance. I'm going to launch the instance here. Okay, so then I'm going to connect that instance. And in the security group also, we need to open the port number 8080 we need to open. So I'm going to use the public IP. Directly I'll open putty, SH, authentication, credentials. Yeah, my Tomcat key pair. I'll increase the font size. So username is it's Ubuntu. That is the reason Ubuntu itself is the username. Okay. And what is the packager on top of Ubuntu? M or apt. What is the packager? What is the packager? So apt is the packager. Then sudo apt update. I'm going to update the packages. Okay. So it's 22.04. Then like in order to run the Tomcat, or even if you go for Jenkins also, definitely we need Tomcat is required. Sorry, Java is required. So now here I'm going to use the packages default hyphen JDK. So what is the package name? Default hyphen JDK. And using this, I'm going to install the package. After update, I'm going to install here, not directly the Tomcat, Java through default hyphen JDK. I have installed the Tomcat. Once I install here the Tomcat, sorry, Java, then I need to download Tomcat from the Apache Tomcat website. So we need to download the Tomcat. Okay, so for that purpose, what I'm doing is I'm using the wget command and I'm going to download the Tomcat package. Even already static websites also we have downloaded using wget command. Okay, so now here I'll try to run this command. Wget and that location. So now here I got one error. What is this error is? Like in that page what we have given, the Tomcat is not available. Then I'll go to Tomcat version 9 download. If I go for this Tomcat version 9 download, as of now, they kept the version is 9.0.95. What is the version here we are using? 9.0.95. But we try to access that version download is 9.0.69. This version is not available as of now. That is the reason we got that 404 error. Now that same path I have copied. Otherwise, if you have a doubt on this, you go to this path. Here we need to choose zip file or tar.gunzip. I'm going to use a tar format for Linux. Mostly we have tar.gunzip. Tar is one of the extraction format. GZ is gunzip format. And then I need to copy that website path. Before that, I need to give wget. Okay, so once we got that exact website path, wget and that path. So that path we got it from Tomcat downloads web page. So now if I go for this, that tar have been downloaded. The tar have been downloaded, right? But this we need to extract. This we need to extract. For that, tar itself is the command. Okay, so now here tar xzf. So why I'm not copying exact commands is when you are going to perform these kind of errors we will get, we should able to solve those problems also. So now I'll try to use xzf is the extraction command. Okay, so I'm going to use tar. So here, what is the problem here is I don't have 669. My version here is 9.5. Okay. So then I'll check it. I got that extracted Apache-Tomcat. So this file itself have been extracted. Now this file, if you don't want, you can remove also. That file I don't want, I have space constraints. That is the reason I have removed. Now this file I want to copy to OPT Tomcat. I want to copy this to OPT directory. Okay, so now here this sudo mv I have used move command. Sudo mv. Okay, so here again we got the error that is expected because 6.9 is not the version 9.5. So now that have been moved to OPT Tomcat. That have been moved to OPT Tomcat. Okay, so once it has been copied to OPT Tomcat, in this OPT Tomcat, what are the files and folders we have? All those also we'll discuss. Then here we are going to create one Tomcat user also. So we shouldn't do anything Tomcat related on the uh, Ubuntu user like this. Better to create a user also. So now here we are going to create user add is the command, and Tomcat is the user we are creating. And for the OPT Tomcat, we are giving the permissions also for the Tomcat user. And by default, in the previous session, when we created Nginx or Apache, by default, we got the service. Okay, so by default, we got the service. And in our service, what we have done is automatically we can start or stop. But by Tomcat, we have not installed through apt something. We just copied the binaries, okay, to OPT Tomcat. That path, all those we no need to know. That is the reason we are creating Tomcat service. So now here we have a Tomcat service we are creating. Otherwise, we can start or stop the Tomcat, but from different way we need to do. I'll show that also. But if you create the service file, what is the advantage is we no need to use the catalina.sh. From there, we no need to start or stop. So now here I'll go for this service file also. I'm going to create. Okay, so then sudo nano etc systemd. So these all manually we are doing, right? But when we are doing through DevOps, we should have good expertise. Before that, we should learn all this and multiple times we need to perform. Then this from the unit to till this. So anyhow, OPT Tomcat itself we have. These all we need to copy. So now that environment details and the startup script, stop shutdown script, all these we have specified. Then I need to save this. Okay, so then I need to start that. If I have any problem, then that service won't start. If a service is not starting means we have some issue. Okay, so then sudo systemctl. If you want to use this, that service file need to be created. Yeah. So now that service have been created. Now if I go for Tomcat files, I got like a con file, log file, web apps, bin library, temp worker. Say in the previous Nginx or Apache, we have deployed most of our applications into which folder is maybe var www HTML. So we have copied to that, right? So now for the Tomcat application, so we need to deploy those into web apps folder. So whatever the applications we got, those all we need to copy to web apps folder. We need to copy. Okay. So then once we copy those web apps folder, so Tomcat for testing purpose, they have given one sample var. We'll download that sample var. Say sample var for Tomcat 9. Okay. Say here one var file they have given. What is the meaning of var is web archive file. Mostly Java builds will get either in the form of jar file or var file. Jar stands for Java archive. Var stands for web archive. As of now, we are getting the web page kind of things. So here they have given sample.var file. Okay, sample.var file already have downloaded, I think. So then I'll copy this to web apps folder. So now I'll try to copy this link. So I'm not having permissions. I think I log in as a Ubuntu. I'll use sudo. So now this is, but it shouldn't be in the OPT Tomcat. I want to move that sample to I'll move sample.var file to web apps directory. Say in the older versions, we need to restart in order to reflect that one Tomcat. We need to restart. Okay, so then here we no need to restart this. Say in the web apps, I'll copy that public IP here for the Ubuntu user. We don't have that permission. That is the reason we have created Tomcat user, but we didn't log in as a Tomcat user. Still we have Ubuntu. We'll log in as the Tomcat user. Then we don't get that problem. Then I need to open the port number. So what is the port number I need to open is in the security group of this instance. I need to open the port number 8080. So I'm going to open custom TCP port. Sorry, not ICMP, it's a TCP port. Don't open all TCP, custom TCP, and the port number is 8080 and from anywhere. Okay, then we are going to save the rules. So once we configure this 8080, then I'll go to that instance IP. Okay, so then that port number is port number is 8080. So here 80 by default it tries. We don't have anything in 80. I'm going to give 8080. Then what is my expectation is that Tomcat page need to open. Okay, so this is the Tomcat default page we are getting, and how this web page opens here: server status, manager app, host manager, by default, due to some configurations we need to do by default, these all don't open. But try to get very, very good expertise on the Tomcat, because we may have deploy a lot of Java-based applications. We require very good knowledge on the like web servers like Nginx or Apache, and even very good knowledge on the Tomcat also. So that is the reason we should learn every day, install Tomcat, monitor, troubleshoot. In this, we have deployed sample. Okay, so that's maybe a sample application, hello world application. Just whether our Tomcat have been working fine or not, I have tested. Okay, a sample web, like a sample application have been given. Now, I want to deploy Jenkins also. So Jenkins I can install as a packager type also, but Jenkins is available as a WAR file. Means I'll download the Jenkins WAR file. I'll copy that into my web app folder. Then Jenkins also is running. So then for that, instead of Jenkins sample.war, I'm going to download here Jenkins.var. But in the real time, for your application, we don't directly get a var file. How to build a var file also we'll discuss. So now here we have the var files. Yeah, here we have the latest var file we have. Copy that link. And I should move to web apps. So I'm moving to sudo, but I can move to Tomcat user also. Then here as of now, sample.var is there, right? That has been automatically extracted and we got the sample. Now wget from the Jenkins, I have downloaded that var file. Now that var file not downloaded properly. No, not in this path, it won't download like that. What I'll do is I'll download manually through WinACP. I'll copy to web apps. I'm downloading to Windows. Like here we have this generic package. This package I'll type. Like here I think we have this Jenkins.var. Yeah, so now that is getting downloaded. Then you no need to use WinACP to copy. And here in the web apps, once I copy Jenkins.var, it automatically it will extract and will get into Jenkins also. Okay, it automatically extracts into Jenkins also. Otherwise, if it is not extracting, then we may need to restart. But here, if you see Jenkins automatically, it extracted. In the very older versions in 6 and 7 of the Tomcat, it automatically it won't extract that var file. What we need to do is, say in that use case, we need to do like restart our Jenkins server. We need to restart our Jenkins server need to be restarted. Then in this use case, I'll open my Jenkins.var instead of /sample. What I need to give for the Jenkins is here we have the sample, right? Now the manifest file is Jenkins. So here we got some permission issue, no issues. So now here using this, we can access our application. So now home Tomcat Jenkins user, we are not getting the permission, but we can log into this. But this is not the way to install Jenkins. In the next classes, I'll show how to install Jenkins also. This is the old method. We have used Tomcat itself as our Jenkins. Tomcat itself, we can install as the Jenkins server. While extracting, it got some permission issues. Okay, so that Jenkins environment variable is not set, but to the web apps folder, we need to deploy. So done. If you come to this web apps, cd dot dot, so we have one more important file is there, logs. Even in the Nginx or Apache also, we have seen the logs. So mostly we are going to get the access log and error logs also, host manager, Catalina logs. These logs also we need to use for the troubleshooting purpose. Say in our OPT Tomcat, we will have the log file. If any of the users are complaining, we have issues with the application, definitely we need to check the logs also. So we need to check the logs also for the troubleshooting purpose. For the troubleshooting purpose, we need to check the logs also. So once we check these logs and all this, then we have conf file, very, very important conf also. So in the conf file, we have Catalina and server.xml, tomcat-user.xml, say context.xml. In this very, very important file is server.xml file. So server.xml file, say just open the server.xml file and try to read all those. What are the options we have? As the DevOps engineer, each and every setting, what is the default value? We should have very good knowledge. So by default, what is the Tomcat port number is 8080, right? If you want to change any of the Tomcat port number in this location, what is the file name? The server.xml, right? And in this location, we need to change the port number. Okay. So what is the file name? What is the file name?
Server.xml.
Server.xml. In the server.xml, in the connector, we need to change the port number like 80802. Any of the available port we need to open. Then what is going to happen is a restart is mandatory. Once we restart our Tomcat, then automatically that Tomcat is going to open using the other port number it is going to use. Other port number it is going to use. In the conf folder, in the OPT Tomcat conf folder, we have the server.xml, and in the server.xml, we need to go for the that connector port 8080. So now here I'll try to change this port number, any of the other HTTP port. I'll go for insert mode. 8081. 8081. I'm going to save and exit. Okay. So once I change this, I need to restart my Tomcat also. How to restart our Tomcat? So here I need to systemctl. Say first stop it, then start the Tomcat. So then I'll try to open not using 8080. I need to open using 8081. Okay, so in 8081, that application is not opening. Can you tell me who is blocking us? Who is blocking us? In the security group, we have opened only 80 itself, 8080 only we have opened. We didn't open the port number for, 8081. Okay, I'll go to the security group, edit inbound rules. Here I'm going to open 8081. I can add a rule also, but unnecessarily I don't want to open 8080 port. Okay, so then in this 8081 need to listen. That 8081 need to listen. So this is also very important use case. So these all basic administration manually we are doing. Going forward through automation, we should able to perform. So in the job, they're not expecting to do all this manually. Now we need to automate all this. But in order to automate first, we require good expertise manually. So by default, here if I go for the manager app or host manager, we'll get some access they need. Here we need to do some settings. So these all we'll discuss in the next sessions also. So try to open this manager app and host manager. So now in the Tomcat user.xml, they're specifying some settings we need to do. And these user accounts also, we need to create admin GUI, admin script. So these all we need to understand. First to try to install till this, then we'll go for the deployments. So Tomcat manager app, host manager, building different applications using Maven, and those applications we will deploy and try to change the port numbers also. Then, like here, if you come to conf itself, or bin directory would be there, cd bin. Here we have catalina.sh. Okay, Catalina, like here this catalina.sh or startup.sh. Okay, these scripts are very, very important. So this is used for Tomcat started. Normally, previously, very long back, we used to start or stop by running these scripts. Shutdown.sh. Now that's going to stop. Otherwise, if I want to again run, Tomcat has been started. Otherwise, now catalina.sh stop. Like this we used to run. But now what we have done is we have created the user's service kind of file itself. In this like in the tomcat.service, what we are specifying is this is our home directory, opt tomcat. Opt tomcat, this is the environment variables. And so now whenever we are going to call the start script, it is going to call startup.sh itself. When we want to stop that, it uses shutdown.sh script itself. That means instead of manually you can start or stop, now we can use service itself. If you don't create this service, file, what we need to do? Manually go to that bin directory, catalina.sh, we can start or stop, or that shutdown and startup scripts we need to execute. But instead of that, better to create a systemd service file. Systemd service file. This already we have created. That is the reason I'm able to restart using service D or systemd. I'm able to restart that. Okay. Then this manager app and this host manager app, and definitely by default we are using HTTP itself, but HTTPS also we need to enable for our Tomcat. And for the HTTPS purpose, Tomcat by default the port number they are going to use is 8443. 8443 is the Tomcat HTTPS port. By default HTTPS port is 443. But in the Tomcat environment, it is using 8443. So how to configure those SSL certificates also, we'll discuss in the next Tomcat session. Definitely one web server like Nginx Apache and one Tomcat, we should have very good expertise. minimum 2 to 3 years, we are going to work on those applications. Okay. So any doubts on this? Any doubts? Okay. So once we deploy all these applications, I'll show one more example also. Say we have Java servlets or Java web-based applications. Those are the old methods. So now we have Spring Boot also. So we'll deploy one. So today mostly in the projects, the front end would be the Java Spring Boot kind of applications. How to deploy that Java Spring Boot applications, we will discuss. So for the Spring Boot application purpose, like Spring Boot community has given one application that is called as Pet Clinic. Okay, so now you just Google Pet Clinic app. So who given this? Spring Boot community itself have been given this application, and I'm going to use the Pet Clinic app. So they given this GitHub URL. So GitHub is one of the version control system. Most of the project repositories in the world have been stored in GitHub itself. Now we require basics GitHub commands also. Then I'm going to copy this code. Okay, I'm going to copy this code. Okay, not into Tomcat. I'll move to my home directory. But I'm as of now here in the root account, no issues. Then what is the present working directory? I move to root, then git clone. So git clone, as of now, I'm just using one basic command. What it will do is that remote repository, it is going to copy locally. That source code I have locally copied. What is the name? Spring-pet clinic. I need to move to that one. So even if you come to this repository also, so now here we are going to get the commands how to run this pet clinic application. We already use git clone. This URL we have done. Then we need to go to that directory. That is the purpose I moved cd pet clinic. Already we have inside that directory itself. Then mvnw, we are using Maven. Okay, I'll explain Maven also. But as of now, we are going to use the build using the Maven. So this command we are going to use. So Maven package is the command. So using this Maven command, we are going to package that application. Then here in this, the output we are going to get is a jar file. In the previous in projects, we have used the var file, web archive file. But today for the Spring Boot, mostly we are getting a jar extension, Java archive file. Okay, so then I'm going to build using the package Maven goals also we'll discuss. I'm running this command, Maven package. It takes more time and it is going to build the complete our Spring Boot application. Developer has given the jar or var file or source code. What developer is giving for us? Okay, so now here itself we are doing some data like a DevOps kind of operations. Developer has given the GitHub repo. We have cloned that GitHub repo. Then Maven we have used to package that application. Later we will deploy that application. But these all in the real time, we need to use the CI/CD kind of tool like Jenkins, GitHub Actions. But now we are going to perform manually. Okay, so now which step is happening here is, it's Maven is our build tool. So we required very good knowledge on the Maven also, and Git also we required. I'm doing all these steps manually, but in the real time, we shouldn't perform all these manually. We need to integrate with our pipeline. We need to integrate with our pipeline. And for that purpose, what we are going to use? Maybe Jenkins we are going to use for that purpose. So this in the real time, it takes even 1 to 2 hours also to execute all this. It takes more time because in the real time we'll have a lot of packages also. Okay, so these Maven goals also we require. Then parallelly in our job, we will do unit testing and integration testing also we are going to perform. Say in the job, like we should have a lot of, say here we got some error. Say here we got the Java compatibility issue. Build required at least 17. Like we may have, like here we need, say we have installed default JDK, right? That's maybe installed. Java 13 we have installed, but that application code. So what is the purpose of initial CI/CD? In the initial, why we need to do continuous integration is when we took the code, definitely like this, lot of build issues would be there. Okay, so uh, what we need to do for that? So we will closely work with the developers and we need to identify. Okay, so we are we need to identify what is exactly we are getting the problem. Then developer again will give the new code. Okay, that again that code we need to deploy. That code we need to deploy. Say here what is the error we are getting, and here they are telling hyphen x. If I run using this hyphen x option, then I'll get the full debug logging. Then developers will ask this kind of login kind of information also. Okay, say login kind of information also. We are going to debug, and these all we need to provide to whom we need to provide? To whom we need to provide?
Developers.
To the developer. Okay, so then the developer is going to check that. Okay, say why that error is coming, and he will give some more steps for us. And according to that, we need to perform those issues we need to solve. Okay, so now here we need to tell our JVM we should have 19, and in the pom.xml or we'll have the inside also we have lot of files, and to that pom.xml all those also we need to set up. And once we set up all this, okay, so here I didn't install Maven, but by default with the Java we are going to get Maven. I'll try to install Maven here. And we need to ensure we should have Java 17 have been there or not. So as of now, we have the version is. So what is the version we have here is 11.0.24 we have. Okay, so but what is the Java version it is expecting? Say you try to do it on 2024 image, we may be default JDK maybe we may get it we may get that 17 itself. Okay, so then here instead of upgrading that, you try to install. Say here I'm going to install. Previously I tried open default JDK. Now exact version I'm going to install. 17 I'm going to install here. Now here it's trying with this itself, and again I'll try to run. Normally we need to update also with the 17 it's upgraded or not. We'll try now once again. Maven package. So now with the 17 we have, this is very continuous in the initial stages of the build. We'll have definitely premature builds. We need to closely work with the developers. That is the purpose. We have the CI kind of operations. So we have the CI kind of operations. So these all build process we can't reduce most of the time, but definitely client also expecting to reduce the size. We need to optimize how we can reduce that time also. So we need to reduce this kind of time. So once we got that build, we need to execute that jar file here. In that jar file we are getting, and that jar file we need to execute. So what are the Maven goals? As of now, we have used package, but clean test package like this install deploy. We have the different packages we have. We will discuss all those. So in initial stage itself, in order to identify the build issues for even small code change also, we are going to perform CI steps. In that, definitely we are integrating build jobs also. It's taking some time. That is the reason it's with the T2.micro, it's little tough to run all this. That is the purpose I have taken T2.medium I have taken. But this is the very basic app itself, but it is taking a lot of time in the real time. Even it takes more time also. Okay. So now this build is success, right? 5 minutes back itself that build got failure. We no need to be panic. Okay. So in the later stages, we need to make it the build should be very mature and stable. That is the reason in the initial stages we'll get a lot of build issues, but we should be able to solve those build issues. Now I'm going to run that. Okay, I'm going to run this application. For that, the command is java-jar in your target folder. What is the target folder we'll discuss. So now if I go to my Maven files, so now here with one target folder is created. If I go to the target folder, I got that jar file. Okay, spring hyphen pet clinic hyphen 3.3.0 hyphen snapshot dot jar. Okay, so that is the only as of now jar file we have. But what is the command I'm using is target dot slash dot jar. What I have used is I don't know what is the jar file name I have created. That is the reason I use the wildcard. Okay, that star meaning is any name with the jar extension. What is the file we have? Try to run that jar file. Okay, so by running this command, okay, our jar file is going to run. And in this use case also, if you want to change the port number, I don't want to use default. This application also will use port number is 8080. But already we have Tomcat. Anyhow, we have changed that. But if you want to change the port number for your Spring Boot application, here you can give 8084 or 8085. Like this, you can give that. But as of now, I don't have any problem with the 8080 because for Tomcat, I have changed that to. For the Tomcat, I have changed that to 8081. So now here this uses default 8080 itself. So now that jar file is executing now. So it's started that pet clinic app, but in our security group, still we didn't open that 8080. Have opened only 8081. I'll edit. Eight zero anywhere. So now for this Spring Boot application, we need to open. No need of anything. 8080 we need to give. Okay. So this is one of the sample web-based application. But this web-based application have been developed not on traditional Java. This application has been deployed on. This application has been deployed on Spring Boot. Okay. So like this developer job is developing their application code. But what is our job is once they develop the code into that, we need to deploy this into dev environments, QA environments, staging environments, and finally we need to move to production environments also. Okay, so still this is not the complete real. So even we need to configure a lot of things. We need to optimize. We need to secure. Okay, so these all we need to perform going forward. Okay, so try to deploy the Tomcat base and these Java based applications also we should able to perform.